What's up? What's up? Y'all know who it is. We back with another episode. Building wealth while black. Straight from Houston, Texas, man. You know how we do it. We about to jump into this episode. We about to feature a young guy by the name of Donovan. He's about to talk about real estate investing. He's building out duplexes, doing some major things out here. So tune in and listen to this. We dropping bars, some diamonds and gems, whatever you want to talk about. We about to lay it all out in this episode right here. So let's get into it.
My name's Donovan. This is our new 2-bedroom, 2-bath duplex that started building in April, hopefully finishing end of this month or early next month. This one's actually under contract right now. I'll kind of give you a tour, give you an idea of how we actually got the money for it, how we built it, got the plans, give you the whole rundown on how to do this yourself. Kind of the kitchen, or not, sorry, the living room / dining. It's kind of small, but we wanted to make it still affordable. So we had to reduce kind of the square footage. So, I mean, some of the 2-story and the bigger ones you see, they'll go for, I mean, some of them are pushing like 400,000 right now. So for us to keep this like relatively affordable, like under 315. So this one's under contract right now for like 296, 300. So, and I think the median for Houston is like 350, 360. So we wanted to keep it somewhat affordable. And to do that, we just had to reduce the square footage. So, but yeah, the people I've shown it, they like it. It's great for like a couple. That's who's actually moving into it. It's a couple, a man and his wife. They're moving in, they rent the other side. They're bringing in cash flow, you know, probably saving, instead of paying $1,200 on rent, they're probably paying $800 out of pocket now. So, yeah, just a win-win. That's the way I see it. The reason I designed it like this is I wanted the master bedrooms to be on the outside of the units, because on my duplex, the master bedrooms are touching the shared wall. And so you can kind of hear the other person on the other side, like if they got kids. So that's why I kind of designed it this way. But yeah, so 2 big old windows. We wanted a bunch of light in here. This is the master bath. Electricity's not on yet, so it may be tough to see, but then here's the guest bedroom. So a little bit smaller room, a little bit smaller closet, but it's still nice if you have, you know, a kid, you have a guest, family coming to stay the night. This is perfect. Because there's no HOA in the community, you can put this on Airbnb. There's just so many options you can do with just an extra bedroom that also has its own guest bath. That way you're not sharing it with family, friends, Airbnb person. So yeah, so they're excited about it. Had people hitting me up nonstop, like, hey, are they gonna close on it? Cause I wanna buy it. So yeah, this lot we purchased for $50,000 last year. At the time, this was in December of 2020. And that was like kind of top of the market at the time. And so people were skeptical of buying, but I knew when you see the transformation in the area, you know that prices aren't gonna stay low for long. And so like this brand new single family home was built. And so I was like, yeah, this lot isn't gonna stay there for long. So we bought it for $50,000. Now lots are going for 70-ish, 75. And you know, it's only been 10 months, right? So because we bought it at such a good price, you know, we got some profit built in there. And then obviously putting a structure on here adds even more kind of profit into the mix. So, and then, yeah, we'll probably be all in for maybe 250, 240, 250. And then, like I said, we're selling for roughly 300. So just a pretty reasonable amount of profit, just, you know, nothing too major, but something where the home buyer wins because they're getting an affordable duplex. We win because we're making some money. Builder wins. We're supplying jobs, making the community look better. So I think it's a win-win all around. So kind of the way it works is you buy the land, you send the survey to the plans and permitting company. The plans and permitting company is going to fit your structure on there. And then they're going to submit it to the city. That takes about 4 months to get the permits approved. So from December till April was permitting. And then April, May is kind of when we started construction. And construction should take about 4 to 6 months, depending on weather. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like July or August where we had rain like, yeah, basically every day. And when it stopped, it would only stop for like 2 days. And so it needs to dry up fully before you can do like the foundation and some more work. So when it rains, that's how if you're wondering like how can it go from 4 to 6 months, the weather is a big piece of how it can extend the timelines. Obviously, supply chain issues. We didn't have too much trouble. Cabinets were an issue for us. Like it took us a while to get cabinets. Windows are an issue for a lot of people right now. So basically, I tell people 6 months because that's kind of on the higher end. But ideally, we want to be done in like 4 to 5. But again, these delays where there's not much you can really do come up, and you just kind of got to roll with it. You just build it into your model. So like if you're paying interest on a construction loan, like we are, you need to account for that potential 6 months. That way, you're not surprised and struggling last minute when you're like, oh man, like why aren't they hurrying up and finishing? You got to prepare for it. I mean, that's just the way business works. It doesn't work. If it was easy, everyone would do it. That's what I always say. So got to account for some risk in there. Excuse me, guys. Can we come in for a second?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We're just going to show some friends here. Yeah, so see, they're working on the cabinets right now. Kind of putting the finishing touches. Let's see what else we got left here. Got to do like the vents for the air ducts, just some little stuff. What we're waiting for out here, we're gonna have a driveway, so for both sides. The problem is we need to put the water meter in, and so we got to dig for the water meter, and so until we do that, we can't put the driveway in. But hopefully we can finish in the next like 2 weeks here. So, yep. So yeah, so like if on $300,000, their mortgage payment's probably gonna be somewhere around like $1,800, $1,900. And so if they can rent this side for $1,250, live in the other side, now they're only coming out of pocket like $600. And so if you're paying $1,200 for rent right now, like I was living downtown, I was living lavish, right? 18th floor apartment, thinking I was doing something, but I was paying out the butt, basically, for lack of a better word, because I didn't own it. I didn't have any equity in it, nothing. So I was just paying $1,200 each month, not making any money. Now when someone comes and lives in it, they're not only building equity, someone else is paying their down payment for, or not their down payment, but paying their mortgage for them. They're saving probably $1,200 a month, and now that can go to investing, and now you can see how it can snowball. You get 1 or 2 of these, now you're making $3,000, $4,000 a month. Now the generational wealth really starts to be attainable. So that's kind of the goal here, is want more people to start seeing the opportunity of living in one side, renting out the other. So a little background about myself. I'm from Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota to be exact. Went to school in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I did petroleum engineering for school, and then obviously came down to Houston because that's where I got hired full time with all the oil and gas jobs. So that's still actually my current full-time job. This is more of a side hustle. You know, maybe one day it'll be a full-time thing, but goal right now is to just build it as a side income, save up capital, and maybe start doing it myself. Right now I have partners in each deal because a lot of people ask like, man, where do I get 50 grand? I didn't have 50 grand. I just graduated 2 years ago. So I just partnered with someone, say, hey, you provide the money, I'll do all the work. So I manage the design, contractors, arranging the financing, paying the checks, doing the draws with the bank. So pretty much everything, so that the investor only have to do is just worry about collecting the money at the end. So yeah, I'm not special or anything. Anyone can really do it. All you gotta do is just put a little bit of effort into understanding how to make the numbers work. If the numbers work, there's plenty of money out there for you to go and get it. So yeah, it's a little bit about me. Myself, I'm hiring someone and trusting they know how to, and then building inspectors come and inspect it. The other inspection that's important to talk about is with the lender. So if you have a construction loan, like I do, like we do, construction lender, if you say, hey, lender, the general contractor just finished the foundation, we need 40 grand to pay him. Okay. And lender's gonna send out their own inspector to come and verify. Okay, they did it, that's right. Okay, good. Now they're gonna cash you the check. So it's not like you just ask for the money and lender just gives it to you. They're gonna verify that what you did actually took place, that work was completed, and work was completed correctly. And then that's when you get your money, and then that's when you pay your contractor. So a lot of inspections are involved to make sure everything's being done correctly. Mm-hmm. Like up and coming areas where they're putting new houses next to some of these older ones, sometimes the older ones will drag on the value of the house. So for example, the one we're selling at 300 right now, let's say the appraiser comes out and says, man, looking at the area, the recent comparable sales, so they'll look at similar properties that have sold, like other 2-2 single family or duplexes ideally, and they'll say, they only sold at 280, so your property's only worth 280. Now, the reason why it's causing an issue for both the builder and for the buyer is the lender will only give you, if the appraisal doesn't at least meet the purchase price, the lender is going to say you either need to make up the difference or you get to cancel the contract. So obviously that's not good for the builder, right? Because builder's missing out on money. And so for example, like on this one, if we've been under contract since like May. Basically, I put it on the market 2 days or 1 day later, we were under contract. We got like 4 offers. But now what happens is if we're under contract for all that time and the appraisal comes in, like they're going to do the appraisal sometime end of the month, which is typically about a few weeks before closing. And if that comes in lower than the purchase price, then the buyer gets to cancel the contract. Now I got to go find a new buyer. Now I'm not making any money. Now I'm paying on the construction loan. So that's why the builder is like worried, because we got to pay off the construction loan. We got to get our profits back for the investor, whoever it may be. Now what I did for this one and what I'm requiring for all of mine is an appraisal waiver. So an appraisal waiver is when you tell the lender, look, if it doesn't appraise, I'm gonna either make up the difference or I just get to lose my earnest money. So typically when the appraisal comes in lower than the purchase price, you get to cancel. When I say you, I mean the buyer. The buyer gets to cancel the contract and they get their earnest money back. In my scenario, I'm saying, look, if you want me to lock up the property for 4 months for you, that's fine. Now, but I need you to sign an appraisal waiver, because if it doesn't appraise, then you need to make up the difference or I get to keep your earnest money. That way I get compensated for my time, because now I got to go find another buyer. Now I'm scrambling, right? Because as soon as you finish these, you want to sell it. You don't want to hold it. Or I'm sorry, if your plan is to hold it, you can refinance and keep it. But if your plan is to sell it, as soon as you get past that final inspection, you want to close, because the quicker you get your money, quicker everyone makes their money, quicker profits get made, quicker we can reinvest that somewhere else. So that's kind of the whole appraisal, I guess, dilemma that builders are working with in these newer areas. Is we try to make it look better, but then the appraisers come and say, well, it's actually not worth what you think it is. And we're like, well, yes, it is, because the buyer's willing to pay for it. So we go back and forth on what the actual value is, but ultimately the value of something is whatever someone's willing to pay for it, right? Whether you agree with it or not, if I'm willing to pay $500 for a pair of shoes, the shoes are worth $500. So that's the way I see it. Go ahead.
Like leasing out your the extra room too, huh?
Yep. So that's another thing too. I'm really cheap. Like I don't want to pay any housing payment. So as I mentioned, like my housing payment, it doesn't matter. You guys can know. So it's about like $1,900, like total. So principal, interest, taxes, insurance, $1,900. The other side is bringing me $1,475, but obviously there's a delta there. So only, $500 or so, $400. So it's not much I have to pay. But again, I want to save as much money as possible so I can invest it. So I want to save to invest. So instead to make up that difference, I rent out an extra room on my side for $575. So now it's covering everything, right? Now I'm not paying any housing payment. There's $2,000 that I don't have to worry about. So right now, if I get laid off, something happens with my job, I get disabled, whatever happens, I know my housing is covered because the payment from the other side and my roommate are covering everything. So again, another way and not only that, I'm building equity in the property, right? Because I own it. So they're paying down my loan for me. On top of that, I'm getting tax benefits, right? You're gonna say you're not gonna pay any taxes on that rental income because you're gonna depreciate it. Talk to your CPA, don't get me wrong, but you get to depreciate the house. So for example, I don't want to give a CPA lesson, but long story short, you'll rarely pay rental or income on that rental money you're receiving because of the depreciation and tax benefits. Any maintenance, you get to write off your income. So all these things add up. Like, man, I just need to give it time, right? 5-10 years from now, this is still going to be probably the best decision I ever made because I'm saving so much money now. And then the tax benefits, I'm paying down my loan, I'm building equity. I mean, there's so many pros that I can't even name them all. But
right, that's good.
Good.
So I got one quick question while we're up here.
For sure.
So what got you actually into starting this? Like, you had any background in real estate or like, I know you said you're an engineer, so it ain't like you're a finance guy. So what made you just say, was it somebody something you read, or what got you into say, hey, I'm gonna just get this first property, and now you're at 5 now, like the 5th property, whatever, but
yeah.
What triggered you to take that leap?
Yeah, so the first one came, like the duplex I bought to live in, that came from So I was working my job, right? I mean, I'm still working my job. But again, I realized pretty early on, like within a few months, like, man, I don't know if I can do this for 40 years. So I was on YouTube, Googling, like, how do I make money? How do I make money passively so that I can keep my job and still make money? Real estate kept coming up. I found a website like Bigger Pockets. I'm sure most people have heard of them. So I listened to the podcast, started getting really into the podcast. I listened to them every day on the way to work. And one time they were talking about house hacking. Like, yeah, get in with a low down payment loan. I said, that's perfect. I'm broke. I don't have no money. A good way for me to get into it is to use one of these low down payment loans to rent out the other side and start saving on rent, because my rent was my biggest expense. And so I was really trying to like tackle that bill or expense, so to speak, so that I could start saving money for the next property. So that's how I got started with the duplex to live in, the house hack. And then from there, I was like, man, I wish I could be on the other side of the closing table, right? Because I bought my duplex new construction from a builder. I was like, man, I need to get like them. They're selling these for making 40, 50 grand off me. Why can't I do that? And I was like, trying to put the pieces together, like, man, so if I could build it for this, I know I can sell it for this. Now I just got to get the land. Okay, I can find the deals. Now I got to find the money. So just putting different pieces together. Again, just not taking no for an answer. I mean, a lot of builders kind of blew me off. Like, he's a 23-year-old kid at the time. Like, he's not ever going to do anything. But I just kept talking to people. You know, eventually I put together a presentation to get like the investors. That's how I got all my current investors. I sent them a presentation and we're like, hey, we can build these for this. We can sell them for this. Your profit will be 30, 40%. So even though I haven't done this before, like, don't worry, don't focus on me, focus on the fact that you can make 30, 40%. And let's say I'm completely wrong and you only make 20, yeah, you know, it's not a bad day. 20% on your money is not bad. So that's how I was able to get the first investor. And once I got the first one, got the next one. And so now we're up to 13 have been purchased, vacant lots have been purchased, and like we're under contract for like 3 more right now. So I should be at like 15, 16 by the end of the year. But we're building on 7 at the moment. So where we're at now.
That's amazing. So
appreciate it.
15 in what, 2 years?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just figure it out as I go. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I just, yeah, I don't have a good like explanation of how to do it. It's just, you make things happen, really. Like, so figure out what you need and go do it. Don't take no for an answer. Ask people for help. Google, YouTube, podcasts. That's all I use. People ask me, did you major in real estate? Did you have your parents were in real estate? Nope. Didn't know anyone in real estate. Didn't know anyone who owned an investment property, really. My parents owned their home, but they didn't have an investment property or anything like that. They just strictly typical American lifestyle, right? Buy the house and live in it and, you know, don't really invest. So I had to learn all that from YouTube, podcast, talking to people. Yeah, just really changing what I was like bringing into my mindset, you know what I mean? Like on Facebook, everyone sees a bunch of, you know, BS sometimes. And sometimes it's funny, right? All the memes, and I still joke around here and there, but you know, most of the time I'm focusing my feed, like I'm only following people talking about real estate. I'm only listening to podcasts about real estate. So I was really training my mind like to kind of be in that world. And that's what really got it going, was really focusing the mindset to say, hey, I can do this. I've seen these other people do it. They're not special. I'm not special either. So I don't see why we're any different. Why can't I do that? And that's kind of the way it started happening and just kept it going.
I'm stopping the video right here. Donovan has been dropping some major gems right here, man. It's all about your mindset. Let's get started. Let's do. Don't just keep thinking about it. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. You got to have this course, everything. You're getting out there on its own. So, yes, this property was filmed way back in October. It's done. I'm going to drop some pictures of it here. You know, he's about to bird this one. He's working on many more. All I got to say is, let's get it. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Building wealth while black. Later.